What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, the crypto market pulled back quite a good bit over the last 10-15 hours or so, leaving a lot of investors wondering what in the world is going on. Now, if you've been on the channel here for the last day at least, you know that in the last two videos I've been dishing out warnings about this exact thing. If we actually head over to the channel, what I said last night, or in yesterday's video, I said, listen, crypto warning, I really don't like what I'm seeing in the short term. And then last night I gave another video more focused on the altcoin market, in which I also mentioned that the short term was looking sketchy. Now, the primary reason that we were issuing out these warnings over the last day was simply just because liquidations were building up like crazy right under a major resistance zone, which I'll explain in a little while here, but just know that it makes no sense at all. And so we were getting prepared for the possibility of a pullback, and I do think that there's a chance that this pullback could continue or get worse from here. And so today we'll talk a little bit about exactly why this thing is pulling back and what I personally am doing right now and expecting next. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's talk about first and foremost what's going on in the market and why I believe that it's happening. So what we can see if we head over to coinmarketcap.com is that we are seeing the top 10 pulling back a good little bit, right? Doge, Solana, BNB, and more all down anywhere from 3 to 5%. Bitcoin itself down 2.8%, ETH down 3.7%, and it does seem as if the losses are growing the lower down on the CoinMarketCap list that you go, meaning that of course your top cryptos are holding up well, and the lower you go, the bottom cryptos are performing worse. Now, generally speaking, this is what I like to see. Even in pullbacks, I do like to see the top 10 holding up well because it avoids uncertainty. When things really get uncertain is when the top 10's falling and the bottom 50 are not falling that much, and then people have no idea what's going on. Like, are the top 10 front running a pullback? What's going on? And I hate that. I hate those moments. I hate uncertain moments. It really gets under my skin. Whereas what we're seeing right now as well, the top 10's pulling back a little bit. The bottom 20, bottom 50 are pulling back a little bit more. Microcaps pulling back a little bit more. That's what it should do. It's normal. It's a healthy correction. That's how it feels to me, at least. And so overall, nothing too concerning. Whenever we do look at crypto bubbles, you can see that represented. Outside of a couple outliers like OKB and BGB, you can't see a lot of your majority top 20, top 50, top 100 like Jasmy down 8%, 7%, 9%, 10%, but nothing too terrible. We are still in a macro downtrend. I mean, you look at some, or the more midterm downtrend. You look at the weeklies, we are still negative here on the weeklies and the dailies, but in the grand scheme of things, we're still in a bull market, baby. Monthly looking good, yearly looking good. So overall, I still do believe this is just a natural and healthy correction that is being led by some of your lower microcaps, which is pretty normal. It's nothing too scary. It's nothing too concerning, at least in my opinion. Now, the reason why this is happening, at least in my opinion, can be summarized very easily by what I said over in the school. I said, listen, we are currently seeing the altcoin market pulling back as a result of Bitcoin being rejected again off of the ascending channel in the 100K liquidity zone. It doesn't seem as if there's a major leading player in this pullback, as BTCD, or Bitcoin dominance, is basically net neutral on the day as of now, but this is a sign that what we saw earlier this week from altcoins was just a general correction in the altcoin market, and we are not in some sort of altcoin season right now. Remember though, this isn't a bad thing. It just means in general, Bitcoin is still in charge, and that is a sign of a healthy, not toppy market. Yesterday, I made a few videos talking about the fact that liquidations were irrationally high under such a major zone of resistance, and it seems like that is also playing a factor here as to why we're pulling back. I'm going to do some technical analysis today and let you know if I plan on doing any purchases, but I am still not doing any trading at all today. And so what I was basically saying there is, look, the reason why we're seeing this crypto market pull back is because as Bitcoin's price got back up towards these key levels of resistance, the $99.6 thousand level, the $100,000 level, and the bottom side of this ascending channel, we started to see people going 100x on leverage and 50x on leverage on long trades, meaning they were betting the market's going to go up under a major resistance zone. And anybody who's been in technical analysis long enough knows that's just not a good idea. You should at minimum check to see the interaction before opening up a long trade, and if anything, set better stop losses, not with heavy liquidation levels so close. And so because of that, and because of what we started noticing right there, I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. That makes no sense to me. I don't know who in the world in their right mind would be going 100x on leverage right now. So we just closed down the short-term and mid-term positions. Like, nope, I'm not leverage trading right now. I'm just going to let this puppy ride. And well, here we are. And so now that you, of course, can kind of just see this for what it is, just a natural, healthy correction and pullback as a result of people getting greedy on leverage, let's kind of shift gears a bit and talk about what I'm doing now and kind of my general thoughts about where this could be going in the future. Now, guys, I will remind you, if you do want to start doing some trading to date yourself, you can head over to the BTCC link down below. Although I'm not doing any leverage trading right now, you can trade Bitcoin, Solana, SWI, and many more on up to 500x leverage. And if you do sign up specifically with my affiliate link, you will get a 10% bonus on all first-time deposits, meaning that if you deposit, say, $3,000, or the first-time deposit has to be between $500 and $100,000, by the way, check the terms and conditions. But that means if you do, say, put in $3,000, they give you $300 back on the spot to start trading with, and whatever profit you make from that bonus is yours to keep, no strings attached. So again, that's available for you down there. The platform's been around for 13 years. I like them a lot, and so of course I think you will too. So check those out down below. Now, looking at this, okay, let's kind of get a feel for, well, where do we think that we can be going from here? Because as I did mention over in the school, I think that there is a decent possibility that doing some purchases or something like that could be a good idea, but it really just depends. Oh, and by the way, I'll tell you all about the school later in the video. Don't worry about that right now. So what we can see is that Bitcoin's price is currently on a pretty straight shot downwards. I mean, the 4-hour candle did look pretty gnarly. We can see here that it is currently backtesting this micro golden zone towards the downside. And so Bitcoin is still deciding whether or not this crash is going to get worse. And I say crash just for the, to play the YouTube game. It's really just a correction. It's not anything that serious, quite frankly. But we can see that it still has quite a good ways to go. I'm actually not going to go ahead and say that I think this bad boy is going to get worse quite yet, because Bitcoin easily could just be putting in a range. We very well might just be seeing Bitcoin go range bound for a little while, and so because of that, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. Although I am a little bit concerned at the fact that there are still liquidations sitting back, 94,000, 93,000 on the 1 day. If we go to the 7 day, they pick up all the way towards 90,000, and then if we go all the way to the 30 day, they pick up all the way until 89,000. So when I do see things like this, it does make me feel like we are going to see Bitcoin's price try to come back below this range, and obviously that could open the door for things to get a little bit uglier from there. I'm not going to go ahead and say that I'm sold on that yet, right? Bitcoin still has some good support under it. If we do go ahead and draw in again that micro Fibonacci zone, you can see we are going to run into some support between $94,900 and $93,700 for this golden Fibonacci zone. And then obviously there's this macro zone of support back around $92,000. So there are still a couple key levels of support below us that could stop Bitcoin's price from pulling back. And this has honestly been enough of a pullback for me to stop being so concerned from what I saw yesterday, right? What I saw in this video, I am growingly getting less concerned about, because we are seeing those liquidations dry up. If you look at the 30 day, for example, if you look at the 7 day, for example, and if you look at the 1 day, now we are seeing liquidations favor a top side move, meaning there are now way more liquidations to the top side than the bottom side. All those people who are getting super greedy and making stupid decisions, they got liquidated. And there are a few left, don't get me wrong, a little bit left, implying we could go a little bit lower. But overall, I am happy with the move that we just made, and this could have been enough to start canceling out some of those concerns that I had while we were sitting up here. And so because of that, now knowing that we are seeing Bitcoin actually operating and running into some key levels of support between, again, this $95,000 and $93,000 level, and then the $92,000 level, and then obviously the $90,000 level, yeah, I think we may be in a decent spot to start, seeing Bitcoin try to get a bounce towards the upside and maybe start opening up that door. Now, again, I'm not super sold on this. I'm not super sold on anything. I quite frankly don't know what's going to happen, but I'm kind of in a net neutral place right now, which is a good thing. I'm not super confident we're going to get a bounce. I'm not super confident we're going to absolutely get destroyed, because we are seeing those liquidations dry up here. And so we're in a pretty good spot, in my opinion, where things can kind of just calm down, relax, and reset. You got to remember that the grand vision right here is to let a lot of these indicators just cool down a little bit. Bitcoin's weekly MACD, for example, it got super overextended, and you want to see that bad boy slow down, because it usually doesn't go much further than that. I mean, look at where we were in 2021. This is around the area that we were in, so you kind of want to see that cool down and slow down a bit. You look at the weekly RSI, it was already at the 80 overbought region. You want to see it slow down a bit. And so in an instance like this, in which Bitcoin's price is slowing down, I actually think that this is a good thing, and some sort of little cool down correction like this back towards the bottom side of this range is not a bad sign at all. The only concern that I do have is something that I will make a video about later today, and that's the fact that it feels like there is a possible head and shoulders here forming for Bitcoin, and if that is the case, it will have a breakdown target back towards $81,000. Not something I'm super concerned about quite yet, just because we do have this support zones below us right here and right here, but it is something I'm keeping a very close eye on. But again, I'll make a video about that later today. But overall, things are not looking bad. This correction itself is not something that's scary. It's an opportunity for people to get liquidated because they were making stupid decisions on leverage right here, and now we're seeing it reset. And I think as we head back down towards these key support zones, Bitcoin's price is going to try to figure out whether or not we want to reverse, or whether or not we want to create this range, or do we want to lose a range, right? There will be a couple big decisions being made over the next few days, so obviously I'll update you on that. But right now, this isn't anything concerning. I'm in a spot right now where I don't really... I'm trying to decide. I'm going to decide on the spot. I guess I will maybe do a little bit of dollar cost averaging here, because this is a pretty red day, but these are going to be tiny dollar cost averages. I'm not going to do anything big again, because there is the threat of that head and shoulders still playing out right now. And total 2, which is the total market cap of altcoins, is heading towards the bottom half of that 50% threshold, meaning that we could have a ways to go here. And so because of that, my general thought process is, look, yeah, it's a red day, which generally is a good time to buy. So I'll do a little bit of tiny purchases as we do approach the bottom side of of this range that we're creating, but I'm not going to be doing any big buys, especially not on Bitcoin, because there could be a good bit of room to the downside to go before we actually do start seeing it reversing. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of dollar cost averaging here on Bitcoin. I do a little bit of dollar cost averaging on some altcoins because again, we are seeing it enter into that bottom half. But I would really, if I'm going to do a lot of buying, I would really want to see this altcoin market specifically hit, you know, like that bottom 25% threshold. You see how where we are right now? Let me see if I can do this again. 1 second. You see how where we are with the altcoin market, and mind you, this is total too. This is the total market cap of all altcoins. It's a good way to kind of get a feel for where the altcoin market is. You see how we're just entering into this bottom 50%, but we're not in the green zone yet. That's my point. Like, sure, I'll do a little purchasing on some altcoins because we are in the bottom 50%, but until we hit the bottom 25%, I'm not going to do a lot of big buying because with something like Bitcoin, its price still may have some room to go to liquidate all these people, and the total altcoin market itself might also have some room to go to come back into the green zone like it did back here before we got that pump. And so yeah, my general thesis for the day, which I pretty much just came up with here on the spot with you guys, was that I am going to start doing a little bit of purchasing here at $95,000, but definitely not an absolute shit ton because quite frankly, I think this market could go a little bit lower, but only time will tell, of course. So those are my general thoughts, and I'll of course do some purchasing, and I'm going to let them know what purchases I do over in the server. You guys actually can see I did a huge buy a couple days ago on December 20th, 6 days ago. Bitcoin at 92K, sold at 177. Actually, all of these purchases are in profit. So I'll probably do a very similar thing to this, and I'll announce this to the members in the community later today. So those of you watching, just stay tuned, give me like an hour, and I'll tell you exactly what I'm buying. If you are somebody who wants to join the school's entire purpose, the whole point of it is for crypto investors who are simply just trying to elevate and just get better at this whole crypto thing. We have actually very, very simple mission, and it's just 3 key steps, okay? We take crypto investors like yourself. You're going to get courses, coaches, classes, live streams, workshops, signals, research, and exclusive Q&As with me and the coaches. We're going to take all of the value that we're giving you and help you polish and define your own investment strategies. We have over 40 years across all 7 of the coaches and myself, and then we're going to turn those strategies into as many gains as we possibly humanly can with you and help you guide you as best as we possibly can. And the coolest part about it is we have a community that's absolutely smashing it. I mean, if we just go to community gainers, for example, we had a guy just yesterday printing gains. Look at this, $7,000 gain, $1,400 gain, $3,500 gain, and this is one of our coaches. So you know, we're not speaking out our butt here. We know what we're doing, right? And if I just scroll up a little bit, you can see all of the gains that have been getting printed here, and this is an everyday occurrence. 500%, 13%, 80, 70. It goes on and on and on. And the best part about it is, guys, if you are somebody who wants to try to get in on these gains, go from being where you are to turning it into more gains, if you aren't able to start generating some gains after going through all these things, you're just going to get your money back. It's no problem. It's a money back guarantee, and it starts at $5 a month. There's a bunch of options down there for you. It's $5 a month. There's a $17 a month option. There's a closed $99 a month here as well. So there's so much going on there. So if that's something that interests you, again, feel free to check that link out down in the description below. All that's available for you. And again, for those of you who are in the school, I will be giving you my purchases in a little while today. So overall, that's my general thoughts, guys. Nothing too concerning right here. I actually really like the fact that we're seeing this pullback because we can get those stupid greedy traders out, and it allows this chart to reset a bit. So I'll update you later today. Like I said before, I am going to make a video later today talking about this possible head and shoulders pattern, what it could mean, what we would be on the lookout for, and what you need to be watching soon. So make sure you turn on those notifications so you don't miss that video. That'll go out later, and you know, sometime right around after lunch. So make sure that you check that out. Of course, don't forget you can check out that BTCC link if that is something that interests you. And of course, again, don't forget to check out Tyler Hill's Crypto Vault, which is my school for those of you who are trying to get better at this whole crypto thing. But of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.